Today, we are going to learn a new topic from the chapter Agriculture. Before that, if you are yet to subscribe my channel, please subscribe my channel. Press the bell icon for getting the latest notification. Let us go into the topic. Today, we are going to study about the difference between primitive subsistence farming and intensive subsistence farming. In the previous videos, I have taught you what is primitive subsistence farming and what is intensive subsistence farming. If you haven't watched those videos, please watch those videos. Let us move into the topic primitive subsistence farming and intensive subsistence farming. It is an important question answer. What is the difference between or what are the differences between primitive subsistence farming and intensive subsistence farming? Primitive subsistence farming or the traditional type of farming is practiced on small patches of land, small pieces of land. Primitive, the old subsistence form of farming. Subsistence means for one's own consumption. That is subsistence farming. It is practiced on small patches of land. In comparison to primitive subsistence farming, it is practiced on bigger land holdings. Intensive subsistence farming is practiced on bigger land holdings in comparison to primitive subsistence farming. It is labor intensive. We have learned that intensive subsistence farming is practiced in those areas where population is very high. Because of that, it is labor intensive. A lot of labor is used in intensive subsistence farming. More laborers are involved in intensive subsistence farming. More people are working in intensive subsistence farming. In primitive subsistence farming, we are using tools like hoe, dowel, digging sticks, etc. These are the primitive tools we are using: hoe, dowel, digging sticks. Okay, the pictures of hoe, dowel, and digging sticks is shown in my first video. And here in primitive subsistence farming, family labor or community labor are used. Since people are living in group, living in community, all of them are involved in primitive subsistence farming. In intensive subsistence farming, people are using modern inputs like biochemical fertilizers. Okay, naturally available fertilizers they are using, and why they are using? For getting higher output, to obtain higher productivity. What do you mean by higher productivity? From a piece of land, how much output we are producing. Okay, a single piece of land, how much output you can get. That is what we call productivity. Now, third difference, in this type of farming, farmers depend on monsoons. Farmers are depending on rainfall since they don't have any means of irrigation. They are not having canal irrigation. They are not having any kind of dam or rivers nearby. They are depending on monsoon only, rainfall only. And also they are looking at the fertility of the soil. If the soil is not fertile, they will not cultivate. They are not using any kind of additional inputs. But in intensive subsistence farming, irrigation facilities, like they are depending on, farmers are depending on tube wells, they are depending on canals and other means of irrigation instead of depending on rainfall. If you are depending on rainfall, then you can cultivate seasonally. Then primitive subsistence farming, mainly it is practiced in northeastern states where they are getting a good amount of rainfall, and the fertility of soil there, the soil fertility is also good. Because of that, in comparison to intensive subsistence farming, it doesn't mean that primitive subsistence farming is not practiced in other parts. It is practiced, but mostly it is practiced in northeastern states. Similarly, intensive subsistence farming, it is practiced in northern plains like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, all those places. It doesn't mean that it is practiced in northern plains only. Other parts also it is practiced. And in primitive subsistence farming, the land productivity is low. The output which we are getting from a piece of land is low. Okay, now from a piece of land, you are getting only less amount of output. But in intensive subsistence farming, intensive, because of the strong effort, because of the effort of laborers, the productivity from a piece of land is very, very high. Hopefully, you understood the topic. The question can be asked for 3 marks and 5 marks. Thank you so much for watching my video, and subscribe my channel.